Thank you, Alan. Thank you, everyone, for having me here today. It was a pleasure to be invited by Alan, and I'm really looking forward to sharing a little bit about our organization with everybody. As Alan mentioned, my name is Tristan. I'm the Executive Director with nuSarnia Foundation. We're still quite a small group, a handful of passionate neighbors and community members. We started working together about a year ago, putting some thoughts together, some ideas, some visions that we had, and we really started to gather some momentum quite quickly. So we thought, you know what, why don't we just formalize this a little bit more? We'll come up with a little bit more of strategic planning and really try to make a difference in our city and get some work done. Do you want me to just tell you when to change a slide? Sure. Okay, perfect. So if you could do the next slide, please, that would be great. You can go ahead to the next slide. So one of the things that we're really passionate about is a sense of community in Sarnia, and the group of people that we're getting together to talk about some of our ideas. We're really passionate about healthy, active living. One of the things that we looked at is the way that our city is built and how our built environment can impact our individual lives so much. We decided to sort of narrow down our goals into 3 different visions. So our values are, we would like Sarnia to become more healthy, more active, and more socially connected. Next slide, please.
Taylor, could you enlarge the slides? That's good. Bit more, a bit more.
Perfect. So as I said, we focus on 3 pillars of improving our city, one being health, the second being physical activity through active transportation and mobility, and the third one, social connectivity through the public places that we have available to us here in the city. Next slide, please. It's not about the streets and the sidewalks, it's about the people who fill them. The city can build these spaces, but it's the people here that build community. And I think that that's a really important thing for us as we move forward with our mission, is how do those 2 work together symbiotically to create a really great place to live. Next slide. Oh, sorry, can you go back one? Thanks. So with the first pillar that we focus on, health, a lot of people think of health as sort of an individual physical health, but we look at it in terms of the community and so many different factors, economic health, social health, environmental health, as Alan's already touched on. There's just so many areas that a city itself needs to focus on in terms of that health and vitality. A lot of cities can check all of these boxes, and on paper they come across as a really great place to live. But some cities just have that something extra. There's something unexplainable to those cities, and people just love to visit them. They have a certain energy to them, that X factor, if you will. Next slide, please. These special cities all have subtle attributes, which usually are not born in the city council chambers. These qualities are nurtured by community-led groups and projects, local events, local artists, local youth groups, local business owners. The residents in these special communities have invested their time, effort, and talents to make their own neighborhoods an amazing place to live, something the mayor, city council, or city staff could never accomplish. This is the type of community health we're referring to when we speak of health as one of our pillars. Next slide, please. So active as our second pillar is a little bit more literal to its meaning. We aim to provide opportunities for the residents of Sarnia to become more physically active. 82.5% is a pretty staggering figure when we think about the cost and implications of disease in our community and to our families and friends. This is based on 10 minutes of activity twice daily, which can very commonly be achieved in our own neighborhoods. If we look at going out for a walk around the block or a walk around the neighborhood with our friends and family, the average person could achieve this, this type of low impact exercise with the added benefit of fresh air, nature, and social interaction while out for their walk. But what if there are no sidewalks on your street? And what if your street doesn't provide any trees for shade? What if it's simply an unpleasant walk, navigating busy four-lane intersections or awkwardly crossing vast parking lots, boarded up businesses, or more? Next slide, and then next slide, and then next slide, and next slide. So you can see here how urban design can play a key role in shaping our individual physical health, for better or worse. Next slide. Safety is a serious concern and often a barrier for people to get out and experience active transportation in our city. Road design and urban planning has an extraordinary impact on how safe, comfortable, and attractive it is to travel by foot or by bike, and therefore play a central role in the promotion of active travel. We in Sarnia have nowhere near the safe infrastructure that other cities do, but we've recently started to prioritize safe spaces for our non-motorists. Next slide. So this seems like a city issue. Infrastructure seems like an engineering department concern. What as residents can we do about it? At nuSarnia, we sort of see this as breaking down into two different areas. There's the cultural side of our community. Is it normal or accepted for people to walk to the store or bike to work? That behavioral side of things. We don't really have that culture here just yet, but I do see it growing year over year. And then the other part of it is the active physical infrastructure that supports that initiative. So if I do want to bike to work, can I get to work safely? To help shape a stronger active transportation culture in our community, we do have many public events that play a key role in getting the large segment of people who are curious about getting out, but very cautious still, and to try to help them build more confidence. As Alan mentioned, one of our nuSarnia initiatives that we've just started this past year is offering small group bike tours, where one of our co-founders, Ben, takes a group out on the Dutch commuter bicycles. We have about 19 of them. They are very comfortable. It's not a race by any means. It's a very leisurely pace. I think we spent an afternoon together, a nice coffee break, and it's a really nice way to get to know the city. Some of the nice treed backroad streets, and ways to navigate yourself around without going on the busy roads. The Blue Water International Grand Fondo, more commonly known now recently as the Blue Water Cycling Organization, runs a variety of initiatives that are free, open to the community, and with the mission of creating an improved cycling culture for all ages and abilities in our city. The Slow Roll event is just finished its second year this summer. It's a free community bike ride for all ages and abilities, a nice 10-kilometer ride through the streets of Sarnia with a large group of people. So cycling with hundreds of other people for a nice afternoon is your thing. That would be a great event to join next summer. Cycling Without Age is a relatively new program that's run by Blue Water Cycling Organization, and they take residents of the retirement homes out on volunteer-led try-shaws, and they take them throughout the neighborhoods and the Howard Watson Trail to get them out in nature and more connected to their community again. And Youth Spokes is a program that is for youth ages 11 to 14, helping to build cycling skills and confidence so that students and youth can grow that into their later years and integrate healthy activity into their everyday lives. So we have a variety of programs. I think every organization is starting to grow these sorts of things, and I'm starting to see more and more, specifically cycling initiatives teaching bike safety, which is a really important thing, especially for our youth. Next slide, please. One of the conversations that we often have with people as well, too, is what does your 3-kilometer trip look like? We really try to encourage people who are taking those short trips, 1 kilometer to 3 kilometer, try doing it through walking or try doing it through cycling if you can. My pickup to go and get my son from school is less than 1 kilometer. I am the only person who bikes. There's about 300 kids that go to the school, and I'm the only one who bikes with my son, but I'm hoping to see that change in the next few years. But could those short trips be taken through walking through the neighborhood? Picking up a loaf of bread, picking up some coffee, a light grocery, pick up things like that, starting to encourage people to get out and explore. Physical activity is just one of the benefits to it, but starting to feel so much more socially connected to your neighborhood as well. Next slide. On the side of the physical infrastructure, Alan kind of touched on it. There are a lot of political, bureaucratic barriers oftentimes that we can see when it comes to working with the city or getting things approved through city council. And we've heard from both city staff and council that a huge barrier for them is the political will coming from the community. So they need to hear from the community that this is something that we really truly do want. Because the negative voices typically can be the loudest in these types of things. So we work really hard with the city and city council to help advance some of these projects on their end. We have helped significantly with the upcoming active transportation master plan. So we were very excited to be included in a few of their consultation sessions. And really be able to put the community's voice forward in some of the work that they're doing. The master plan will come out later this year, and that will serve as a guideline for the next 20 years of improvements for the city. We've done some advocating at city council. We've supported and encouraged other neighbors who have had issues around their own neighborhood with safety to advocate to council meetings, because we do know that the political will is such an important element. And we have regular meetings with the engineering department at City Hall just to get an idea of what's coming down the pipe, how can we help encourage these initiatives through the city and build the support. The roundabouts seem to be the hottest topic right now around the city. And so we're trying to, through our own communications and messaging, trying to provide some education and support out to the community for the work that they're doing. Next slide, please. Not all of these infrastructure projects need to be city-led or long-term, million-dollar capital budget type projects. Our team at nuSarnia takes a little bit of an unconventional approach to some of our community projects, where we call them unsanctioned projects, where we go out and we create some pilot projects on our own to demonstrate to the community what types of benefits these projects would have if the city did invest in them. So the first project that we did was painting a blue bike lane and putting up some physical barriers along Colburn Road. That we were able to demonstrate a 7-kilometer average speed reduction along Colburn Road due to that initiative, which on a neighborhood street is quite significant for safety and to the benefit of everybody that lives in that area. And then we also surveyed people who used the lanes. Did they feel safer with the physical protection? Did motorists like having the physical protection between between the cyclist and their vehicle? Something like this for the city to do would probably be a few years from start to finish. We were able to do it in a few hours. And like I said, demonstrate the benefits of it in a temporary, cost-effective manner. Next slide, please. A recent project that we actually collaborated with the city on and the Blue Water Trails Committee was a Bike Friendly Canada Day pilot initiative, where the city closed off a vehicle lane for us, and cyclists were able to get from all areas of the city to Canatera Park safely on their bicycle with their own designated protected bike lane. We heard from lots of people that they really appreciated it. They were more confident taking their kids to Canatera Park that way. I'm still waiting on the traffic counts, but they were upward of 800 people in one section that the city did do some data collection on, which I would consider a successful initiative, and we're hoping to continue to do things like that for our community over the next years. Next slide, please. So our last pillar that we focus on is social connectivity. And the way I like to describe this is when you are very excited to go out to a new restaurant that you've never been to before, and you get there and there's nobody else in the restaurant. And it sort of leaves you feeling like something's missing. Versus when you go to a restaurant and it is full. You get the last table, it feels lively, it's noisy, you hear various conversations, there's the clanging from the back, chatter, music in the background. It gives a different energy. The meal is still the same, the restaurant is still the same, but having it filled with other people, we can have that sort of feeling and that sense of connection and energy in our own city through the ways that we use the places that we have. I think we're all still feeling the after effects of COVID. Lots of people are still working from home, and more people are feeling isolated from their community. There was a lot of community groups or projects or events that just didn't start back up after COVID, and people aren't feeling that same sense of connection. There's a current loneliness epidemic, which speaks volumes about the lack of connection many people are feeling in their everyday lives. There are many changes contributing to this worrying trend. We are social beings at our core, and public spaces are often the best platforms we have to connect with one another. Next slide. City-led placemaking would be the physical infrastructure like we've talked about, places like plazas, walkways, sidewalks, city parks, natural spaces. Our city can grow by creating more public spaces for people and not just for cars. And looking at these slides, which one of these places would you rather spend time in? A pretty interesting comparison. Next slide, please. Community-led placemaking, again, sort of takes a different approach. We can wait for the city to create new spaces for us, or we as a community can look at the spaces we have and start to reimagine how they can be used in a way that can foster more social connectivity than they do now. We can use arts and culture to improve or revitalize these places, which also stimulates the economy and emphasizes community cohesion. Community-led projects can capitalize on these public spaces or the community assets that already exist and create new spaces that promote people's health, happiness, and well-being. These spaces, especially when they're led and driven by neighborhoods and residents of particular streets, can help to build that neighborhood identity, build community spirit, and highlight the history and cultural significance of a particular area. Next slide, please. Creative placemaking engages local residents to be more active in their communities, and it empowers people to activate spaces they love to foster healthy and safe communities. Creative placemaking can take many forms, from urban revitalization initiatives and design to community-based art projects that build connection to city spaces. This type of placemaking aims to create spaces that people want to spend time in and not just pass through. Next slide. Placemaking can range from small-scale, low-budget, and temporary projects to major community revitalization projects. Tactical urbanism, which is sort of the approach that our group nuSarnia follows, enriches neighborhoods through more minor, pop-up, or temporary changes to the built environment in a cityscape. Tactical urbanism community placemaking can be all types of things, painted furniture out on the street, creating pop-up parquets, painting ground murals on the sidewalk. Sometimes you'll see them on the streets through crosswalks. Storefronts working together on light installations, wraps or window art, trail markers and wayfinding, and public art, murals, and sculptures. I think we have lots of potential for things like this in the city of Sarnia. It's not something that we as a community have ever really invested in. And we've got lots of great interest, lots of creative people with wonderful ideas who are hoping to work together with us on various types of these projects. So this to me is a very exciting part of our work. Next slide. Some of the things that we've already done in the past year. So last September, we hosted Parking Day, which is a global initiative. Essentially, Parking Day is taking over a parking space and turning it into a social space where the community can come together. So we did 4 or 5 parquets downtown last year. These are some photos from them, and you can see we had some public art, we had some games for children, we had an interactive art display, and then a pop-up picnic area right there in a parking spot on Christina Street. Next slide. We partner quite often with the Mitten Village Citizen Collective. They do a lot of wonderful work in their community for revitalization for their own neighborhood. We have supported the Block Party 2 years in a row, which brings together local artists, musicians, and vendors for everybody in the community to come out and enjoy. They also host monthly Neighborhood Connect events with different themes. So recently there was a Bike Week theme, which we obviously, we're very happy to support them on, and we'll continue to support their future initiatives. Next slide. nuSarnia created a documentary, we hosted an outdoor movie night in Mitten Village. We took over a parking lot and turned the parking lot into an outdoor movie theater. We had lots of nice Muskoka chair seating, lots of games for the kids and for families to play. Food, drinks, local vendors. It was a really great evening, and then at dusk we were able to play the movie on a big outdoor movie screen. So again, lots more of these exciting things to come, which will benefit everybody in our community. Next slide, please. This year, we're focusing on a really exciting project called the Midtown Trail. We have a east to west trail that starts at Lambton College and goes all the way to Centennial Park. People can walk, bike, wheel, scoot, whatever they want on the trail. Most people don't know that this trail exists, but it's a beautiful pathway for everybody to use. And our key initiative this year is going to be making that a pillar within our community for people to come out and enjoy. There is a short video on here that introduces the concept. I don't know if that can,
We're committed to projects that will create a connected, active, and healthy community, resulting in the well-being of its residents. The creation of the Midtown Trail is a true success story of how working with committed partners can make this dream happen. The Midtown Trail is being developed in stages and will be complete in 2023. It's a hybrid trail that combines dedicated multi-use paths, bike-friendly streets, and new raised crosswalks with beg buttons, which are designated pedestrian crossings. It will bisect the existing north-south Howard Watson Trail to help increase our bike-friendly community. Let's show you the route now. Starting at Lambton College, cyclists or walkers travel east along the paved path until it crosses at Afton Drive on an elevated crosswalk to a multi-use pathway on the west side of Afton, on which you will continue until an elevated pedestrian crossing across Afton at Murphy Road. We then go through the Coronation Park subdivision on Preston, Mayfair, Minto, and Germain Streets, across another pedestrian beg button at Indian Road, and you're directly onto the path in Germain Park, another gem in our city. From here we cross East Street onto the new paved path beside the former athletic track and past Hannah Memorial School to Russell Street. Then you will be traveling up the bike-friendly road on Mariah Street all the way to Christina Street downtown, down a path to Front Street and Sarnia Bay, then along Centennial Park to Lockhill Street, which is being reopened in the current construction project there. We are developing a loop back to Germain Park by traveling through the Kiwanis Center at College Street and then all the way down the beautiful tree-canopied Bright Street right back to Germain Park. In total, the Midtown Trail will be approximately 9 kilometers.
The development of the Midtown Trail aligns very nicely with Lambton College's focus on student and community success and wellness. Increasing the active and sustainable transportation opportunities to our campus is so very important, and a safe and direct link to Sarnia's downtown will be of significant benefit to thousands of students and employees at Lambton College.
The city's transportation master plan includes the communities that encompass this trail, so nuSarnia Foundation's vision parallels nicely with the city's goals. The pedestrian crossings will be commissioned in 2022, while work on Afton Drive and the bike-friendly streets is expected to be complete in 2023. We are also looking forward to developing our first active transportation master plan. This will be a comprehensive guide to making our community a great place to walk and bike.
So we at Blue Water Health are so pleased to both support and partner with nuSarnia Foundation in the development of this Midtown bike path. It's a great green alternative that allows people to exercise in order to get to the downtown area and get to the riverfront. It's adjacent to our brand new heliport, and it really speaks to the development of a green community. So we offer our unqualified support for this project.
The Midtown Path is a great example of what can be accomplished when people work together. So let's stay active, stay healthy, stay connected, and continue to build more opportunities in Sarnia-Lambton. The nuSarnia Foundation is so proud of our first project in the community. Come, Join our dream.
I should have mentioned before that site, that was old. That was about a year old. So a lot has happened since that. The city has done a fantastic job completing most of the infrastructure. We're actually, I'm biking that path tomorrow with the manager of transportation to talk about the last few pieces. So the city has done the hard work, the heavy lifting, if you will, with the physical infrastructure. And then we as a community group want to infuse some of that X factor. Some of that sort of special energy on the trail to really make it a great place for communities. So we have developed a coalition with all different community groups. We've got Lambton College, Lambton Public Health, Sarnia Public Library, Climate Action Sarnia Lambton, lots of local business owners who want to be a part of this. And we're really going to take some ownership of this space and make it a unique, fun place for everybody to spend some time in. So stay tuned for exciting updates on the Midtown Trail. Next slide, please. That was it for me. If anybody wanted to stay in touch, we are on social media, actively spreading our message on social media. My email is there. Our office doors are always open for conversation. We do send out regular newsletters if anybody is interested in hearing more about what we're up to. And we just welcome everybody to follow along, share your ideas with us, because we would love to help turn some of these amazing visions into reality. I don't know if you wanted me to open it for questions, if anybody had comments, or my time's up.
We'll have questions in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for having me.